Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome back. Uh, Let me introduce myself for those if this is your first time tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Dr. Samaria. I'm Covert. I am a licensed therapist. I have over 16 years worth of experience in the mental health field. I am a published author. I've read over 60 books. I'm at book number 68, and my goal is 100 within the next 5 to 10 years. Shameless plug, I did just release a $5 e-guide at my website, and it'll teach you the step-by-step process of writing your book. It is not a big old manual. It's about 8 pages. And it's $5, okay, to write and publish your manual. And this is the step-by-step journey that I just repeat the same pattern over and over again. And so I gave you that little e-manual, okay? I own a private practice called Kingdom Creative Counsel. So I am a full-time entrepreneur. I'm located in my office right now, and I love this place. I love this place. Excuse me. Um, what else about me? Also, I do all kinds of things. I do training, dilly dallies, and everything in between. I did post a brief flyer on the spirit of divination versus prophecy. I'm going to not do that one on this one. I'm not sure. I think I may do that next. I wanted to keep the momentum of like starting your year right, reaching your goals for those who have business goals, for those who have goals of wanting to be an entrepreneur, a full-time entrepreneur. I am starting there. And so I did put that out, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that one next or not. I may do a second one that you may see prior where I'm talking about the difference between the spirit of divination and prophecy. This is going to talk about, so I did part one where I talk about things that you need to do before you leave your full-time employment. And then another one I did is pros and cons of being a full-time entrepreneur. And I want to keep on that vein because I want to encourage particularly other people who are in the human services field, who are in the healthcare field. If you want to start your own business or entrepreneurship, I want to address that particular demographic because I see a lot of people that are talking about business and they're like content creators, and there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, I don't have a huge social media following, but I do all that. But I wanted to talk specifically for a specific audience that is like professional. You have degrees, you went to school, but they don't teach us entrepreneurship and business and those things. They teach us treatment and diagnosis and how do you be an entrepreneur when you're in a highly regulated field. Okay. There is some benefits of being in a regulated field. There's some benefits, excuse me, because it's extra protection, but it can be more liability. And sometimes it can be scary, but it is a benefit nonetheless to being able to serve the community in the way in which you choose, but still in line with what the criteria is uh, within our standard of care. Uh, and so I want to talk to that demographic. So I'm excited to. So I want to do part two, same vein. Of course, as for those who don't know, your first time, I am a faith-based person. Okay. And how I had any and everything I've ever accomplished in life, whatever little big it is, it's because of the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ. Y'all don't know my story. Y'all don't know where I came from. Well, maybe you do. I tell it a little bit by little bit, but I came from nothing. Okay. I was not a girl that had big dreams. I just know I wanted to do something. And I know I had a different mentality than what I saw really growing up. And I'm able to walk fully in the purpose that God has ordained for me. There's other things I'm working on, but from coming from nothing to going to school to having your own entrepreneurial business, it could be scary. And so I want to support you guys as you go on your own journey. But you got to use wisdom, as I said. I know I'm rambling, but you got to use wisdom. Don't be foolish. Got to use wisdom. Okay, Holy Spirit, we thank you for today. So again, these points are in no particular order. It's going to encourage you, and I hope that you see it from that perspective, not bragging, not making myself to be hyper more than I really am. I am, I'm walking my pace here, and I can help someone else from where I am. Okay. So the point number one is that you have to make wise decisions. This is for all entrepreneurs, wherever you are, based upon your circumstances. Now, I know that sounds strange because I know, again, I've heard people say, well, I just stepped out on faith and I stepped out without a plan. Don't do that. Listen to me. Look at Samaria. Don't you do that. Okay. I need you to have a plan now. And God gives us a plan. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that in a minute. But, and again, this is no shade to this person, but I'm going to give you an example. There's a social media influencer that just went viral, social media influencer. She had 3 kids. She left her home in Tallahassee and moved to a hotel in Houston, Texas, because she wanted to be a social media influencer. Once she got to that hotel with her 3 kids, she ended up running out of money and she called the police. The police escorted her to a homeless shelter where she, from at last I checked in, is staying there, and they were trying to get resources to get her back to her hometown. Again, a woman, 3 kids, by herself, not necessarily the best choice. Now, when I say you have to make decisions, again, God will give you a plan. Once God gives you the plan, you execute the plan. Okay, He gonna give you a plan. He gonna give you what? A peak plan. However, you have to use wisdom when you have other people involved. Don't compare yourself to other people, because sometimes you're comparing yourself to other people and they have resources or support or a second income, and you're not making yourself feel less than or more than them. You have to look at the circumstances. I know of people that, for myself, were in similar boat than me, but they had the support of parents they could possibly live off of while they were working towards your entrepreneurial journey. That was not my case. I know people who maybe were married and they had a second income, and then them and their husband got together and decided how they wanted to make certain sacrifices. So that's nothing wrong wrong with that. But you have to make choices based upon your circumstances and not comparing yourself to other people. I heard of someone say, well, I quit my corporate job, and then in 6 months you was staying in a hotel with your family. That to me is not a testimony. Now, to me, to somebody else, that's like, yes, I'm not leaving nobody's job to stay in nobody's hotel. I don't listen. I got to really, really hear from God. Okay, if I got a roof over my head, food in my refrigerator, and my refrigerator that I pay for, okay, and bills in my name, I'm not gonna leave my corporate job to stay in somebody's hotel. That's to somebody that is a testimony, and no shade, that is never gonna be Samaria's testimony. Okay. Okay, so you have to make decisions. So again, I encourage you, if you have children involved, things like that, you can and you absolutely will, if you make wise decisions, but you have to make decisions with other people in mind when other people are involved. Now I'm gonna give you. I'm hold on with me, because I'm not eliminating anybody. I'm gonna give you a strategy that's biblical. As if, let me give it to you right now. Turn in your Bibles. I'm gonna give it to you right now. I was gonna wait to the end because I made the point. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Turn in your Bible. Should have had this out, shouldn't I? Should have had this out scenario. I know, y'all. I had my Bible all the way out. 2 Kings chapter 4. There's another woman, a single woman with kids in the same predicament. This will happen. Okay, watch this. 2 Kings chapter 4. I'm going to read this from the NKJV version. Okay. And it reads, a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophet cried out to Elisha. Mind you, she said, your servant, my husband, is dead. So she's a widow. And you know that the servants feared, your servant feared the Lord. I mean, he reverenced the Lord, but he's, listen, she said, I got creditors coming. I got 2 sons I had to take care of, and they're threatening to take them as slaves. So she's a single parent. Her husband has died. She has no resources, and she got creditors are threatening her. Elijah said, what shall I do? And so Elijah said to her, what shall I do for you? Tell me, what do you have in your house? So he said, what do you want me to do? She was like, listen, you got to help me out here. He then asked her, what do you have? Watch this, in your house. What do you already have in your house? Verse 3, then he said, go borrow vessels from everywhere, from all your neighbors, empty vessels, and do not gather just a few. Go. He's giving her a strategy that God is going to anoint. And when you have to come in, you shall shut the door behind you. Because remember, when you're doing your entrepreneur journey, there's a time you got to shut your mouth and work the plan. Don't be telling everybody the plan, posting on social media. Shut up, work the plan. You and your sons could put all everybody to work and pour all those vessels and set aside the full ones. So pour into all those vessels. So she went, she obeyed the voice of the prophet, shut the door behind her and her sons, and they brought vessels to her and she poured it out. Now it came to pass when the vessels were full. She said, when she ran out of vessels, basically, she said to her son, bring me another. And they said, oh, there's no another. Then the oil ceased. The man of God gave her a strategy for her entrepreneur journey. He said, then she said to the man, go sell the oil, pay your debt, and live off the rest. Go, that's the strategy. You got to do something. Sell, that's a strategy. Okay, what do you have in your hand, in your heart? Go there, sell it, pay your debt off. That's one thing. And then you live off the rest. Come on here. So he gave a woman in a desperate situation a strategy, right? That is how God operates. It's not about having everything together. It's about, have I heard from God concerning a strategy? And so y'all know my journey after I quit my job that I've been at for so many years. I already had a strategy. Once I got there, the Lord said to me, Samaria, the oil, and I'm not bragging, y'all, I'm just telling you, when God is in it, he's going to endorse it. You don't, and no shade to this young lady, she ain't never watched my stuff, no way, hopefully never. But you have to use wisdom. When God gives you a strategy, he gives you the steps. And if you really look at the Bible real quick, Claire, he didn't give her everything at once. He gave her the strategy. She did that. And then he said, after all these vessels are full, oh, now I want you to go. Now I want to, so, and what would happen if she went without oil? What would happen if she went to another state? You see what I'm saying? You have to have a strategy from God, but make decisions based upon your circumstances. You can even say to God, hey, God, I'm by myself, or I had these kids, or I have this student loan debt, or I have this. What do you want me to do? It doesn't mean you can't do it, but don't compare yourself to someone else's journey. That's why I said don't compare to these people that say, hey, I just left out of plane. How until you gonna be saying, don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Use some wisdom. The point number 2 is, and again, this is in no particular order from my business folks who want to be the entrepreneur. I would encourage you, do not sign a non-compete disclosure form. Don't sign it. But still maintain your mind integrity. So this is why I've explained this. I think the first entrepreneurial thing I did, I talked about how, and I'm going to do a playlist of all the things I said. I talked about how I did not take clients from my previous organization, even though I accepted all their assurances. Okay, the company I was working for was starting to turn people away because they didn't, and my company did. They would turn people away. And again, no shade, because they didn't accept their insurances anymore. I don't know what happened. My organization accepted we still accept mostly every insurance. Mostly. That's mostly. Okay. I didn't use it as my opportunity to get the back door handing business cards. I told them, hey, call me. I didn't do that. When I was instructed to find alternative providers, I found them alternative providers in the community because I never wanted to be said there's a conflict of interest or Samaria is a backdooring, dooring. I don't know the word you call it, y'all. Other people's clients into my organization. I wanted to stand on my own integrity. Whatever you do, whether you're starting a business, an entrepreneur business, a ministry, a church, you don't use other people. And I understand people do what they want, but you don't use other people to get next. I can, and let me address this. And I know I probably didn't speak it forwardly. I see people who are using other people's ministry platform to build their own. So they go and join ministries because there is a audience there, and they think if I can get in good with this ministry, then I can launch my own prophetic ministry. Same way in business, same way I do it in church. Maintain your integrity in every situation. I did that. Talk about this in detail when I talk about your exit strategy, how you exit a place, but make sure your motives are pure because your business answers the problem. Your business should not be about how much money. Don't get me wrong. You have to understand finances. You do get more benefits from having your own but the motive should not be a career move or how can I get people and try to shortcut the process. Okay, but I still wouldn't sign a non-compete disclosure. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at the wording of that, sometimes it kind of backs you into a corner a lot of those times. So, for example, one that I read, a company I applied for, I didn't end up taking the job purely because of this reason. It said you cannot start a similar business within 2 to 3 years of even if you leaving the company. But how I had to get put on for my company, and I filed for my own business. My business was not in the same county or as the business I was working for. I had to get my own contracts. I had to do everything myself, but I had to work my full-time job and my part-time at the same time. So I would not have been able to make the jump to full-time entrepreneurship. I had to sign if I signed a non-disclosure agreement, and then I had to wait 2 to 3 years, or I could be held liable or sued if I signed a non-disclosure, non-compete disclosure contract. So I would never sign it. The company that I work for, there are certain parameters, but it was never like that strenuous. So be careful about that. Don't do conflict of interest, particularly if you're in a licensed professional. If you work at a hospital, they'll be handing people your business card. I heard people doing that, saying, once you get discharged, don't do none of that. Don't let it be said and that was done at all. Now you can't help what people do. I tell people I told y'all in one of my teachers, I literally had one client. I literally mean one client. I saw thousands of people because I was there so long. One client, and they'd already discharged her because the company no longer accepted her insurance. I was going to refer her to someone else. She called her insurance and was like, "No, I gotta see this therapist. Do I have out of network coverage?" They pulled me up and they realized, oh, she's already in network. She was already discharged from the organization. So that's the only person. Okay, so you have to maintain your integrity because how you leave a place is how you're going to enter a place. And if you're messy and if you are not integral, you may temporarily have some success, but it'll all come crashing down because God does not play that. God does not play that. Particularly we're not playing the world games, particularly if you say you're a Christian and you can be a Christian motivated by a wrong spirit. You'll get up there, but it'll come crashing down. It is almost as bad as if you never even started. Maintain your integrity because the Bible says promotion does not come from the north, the south, to the east, or the west. It comes from God. And when you do your due diligence and have a spirit of excellence about everything that you do, God is the one who elevates you. So when I left, when God told me, he said, close all doors, which is fine. I ain't had no problems. He said the oil is not going to stop flowing. So I'm telling you, when you have a word from God, you can sleep peacefully at night. Tell me, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Right? That came hard, but did I come truthful? I still love you, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Don't play no games. I see people all the time playing games. Give it time. I'm telling you, I'm in my 40s. I'm not old, but I seen them. I seen it happen. Crashing down just like that. I don't understand what happened because you had your motives and you was a thief in the beginning with. You was a thief. You was a fraud to begin with. You had ill motives to begin with, and God will snatch you just like that. But when God builds it up, honey, I'm telling you, no matter what people come against you, no matter what they say, no matter what they do, I'm telling you, when God is for you, I got people hating me right now. I'm telling you, but God is for me. No matter what they said, no matter what they did, no matter how much they kind of come against me, jealousy and smear campaigns, I'm still moving forward because God is for me. But you don't want God to be against you. And bless you, you play these games, guess what? He'll give you time in his grace, but he gonna come for you. Don't play these games. All right. I feel like I did a whole preaching message, but okay. Samaria love you, but I'm gonna tell you the whole truth. Way. Okay, seek wise counsel from someone who's qualified to give it. I told you this, but this is deep in my soul. I had to put it up here again, honey. We're living in a very presumptuous generation where people think because I have an opinion about something that I can advise you on it. And you have people give you all kind of advice, how you need to spend your money, what you need to spend your money on, all kinds of, don't you think you should do that? And you need to do this and blah, blah, blah. You need to seek counsel from someone who is successful in the area that you were successful at. And you don't got to see when people started giving me advice, because I'm not like that clapback nasty person. I'm not gonna be like, well, what qualifies you to give me advice? I'm not gonna say that even though I think it. I be thinking it, but I would say it. But everyone, so you're not really qualified to lead someone from a place that you have never been. If you and I understand hearing from God, following God's instructions, I get that. But there's some things people gotta see. If you're not successful in business, and that's no shade, you should not be giving me advice. Okay, hold on. It got a little dark. You should not be giving me advice on how I should run my business, because it doesn't make sense, right? It's just real weird. So make sure you inspect the fruit of who's giving you advice, because sometimes people have ill motives. Some people are not successful. Some people, and I want to talk to you about connections in a minute. Everyone that tries to connect with you or give you wisdom, there's a thing called wicked wisdom, is not necessarily qualified. Sometimes people will give you counsel, but based upon a demonic agenda. Make sure you check out that teaching I'm going to do next, all called the spirit of prophecy versus divination. Okay. Again, going back to what we read in Second Kings, make sure that you follow God's instructions concerning your business. Remember, I gave you in my last teachings. I'm not going to go over that. God told me what office to rent. He told me. I remember one time I shared this again. I don't know. I've been sharing stuff, y'all. I talked about. I literally one day. This is maybe 3 years ago. I think I started my podcast 3 years ago. And this is not the same as what you're seeing on YouTube. I literally have a different it's the same podcast on a different platform. This is before YouTube had their thing on there where it says podcast. But I was in my bed 3 o'clock in the morning, and the Lord said, start a YouTube channel. I mean, start a podcast. So I got up 3 o'clock in the morning, Google how to start a podcast. Okay. I had this, not this microphone, I had a different microphone, and I had already pre-recorded courses. I've also created courses. I took one of the modules that and uploaded the thing, and boom, I had a podcast. But by the way, you don't have to have a whole bunch of guests on the podcast. You don't have to have a bunch of equipment. Get you a nice mic and plug it into your to your computer or your cell phone. Boom, you got a podcast. So I can say this, and I'm going to give you this as make God your CEO. There's so many things there's so many things I've learned in the process that I love to share about the goodness of God. And this is why I'm bringing this into my entrepreneur journey, the goodness of God, because you don't always know what you don't know. I didn't know how to start courses. Someone reached out to me and said, sounds like to me you have a good plan. Could we barter for services? Again, this is not a client because we don't barter for services with clients. But and she said, hey, have you considered this platform or that platform to upload your stuff? That's how I learned it. There's so many things. I remember one time God told me to change my business structure. I said, okay, God. And he did. So God is invested. When God is the CEO, he is invested in your business. And you're not going to know everything that you need to know about business and entrepreneurship. It's just not going to happen. But when God is there, he knows all things. So it's okay not to know everything when you start your entrepreneur journey, but God has the final say, and make him the CEO, because the areas that you're missing, he'll connect you with right people with the right motives. That's the key, because the more successful or visible you become, you will find people. I just did a brief live on the difference between being attached to someone versus attachment versus, what did I say? Attachment versus assigned to you, right? And so I did a brief teaching on that briefly. And so, but there's so many people that once they start seeing you being successful, they have motives. There'll be people that are closest to you, people that call you the bestie, all that kind of crazy stuff. And they ain't got no more motive than the man in the moon, honey. And so you really just have to make God the CEO, because you don't want to delay your progress. You don't want to be distracted. You don't want to stop moving forward because you got more wrong connections in your life. People that are assigned to you, and people that are assigned to you and people that are attached to you are not the same thing. People attach themselves to things that they think are of value, that they can benefit from, but someone is assigned to you is there for you, good, the bad, or in between. All right. If you're contract based, that means you sign contracts. Make sure you read and understand how your contract works. Okay. Now that's difficult if you got a lot of contracts, and contracts could be boring. Depending upon the type of contract, you may need to see consultations. But remember how your contracts work. Okay. And don't be afraid to negotiate your value. If you've been in the field for X amount of years, then you need to negotiate your value really with the company that are issuing these contracts. And so I never told this story publicly, but when I first started my make sure you hear prophetic word concerning your business as well. When I first started my private practice, a lot of people don't know this. I was denied a contract. I didn't know how a contract for the human services field worked, and that's just normal. You're not going to know everything before you launch out. And I never forget. This is I know it was God. I was in service one day, and the pastor began to prophesy. This is the season. My pastor began to prophesy. This is the season of contracts, and he began to say the time frame that you need to apply for contracts. Now, I'm an insurance carrier, and so I took that as whatever type of contract I needed. So I took that. I said, "That's my word." Anybody had to prophesy lie over me, prophesy, whatever you want to say it. Nobody had to tell me, "Thus said the Lord." You and that yellow, it's your time for contract. Nobody had to tell me that. I heard the word from the prophet, and it was mine. So I brought that down. I went and applied for contracts. I had never been denied a contract since that time. And I started my practice in 2017. I've never been denied. I got so many contracts, y'all, and I do need to scale back. Don't worry about it. I know other therapists like Samaria, but don't worry about that. I'm telling you what I did at the beginning, okay? Don't worry about that. So scaling back is like when you don't worry about it. So I've never been denied a contract. It got so good. Again, which is another reason I was able to launch out a full time. But I got some good. I just got to the point I was like, I'm not going to apply for any more. I got too much. I had people emailing me. The last, I want to say 4 to 5 contracts that emailed me saying, "Hey, we would like to extend to you." I started applying for contract. Their paneling was not even open yet. I ignored it because I heard the Lord from the prophets. I ignored it. Had biggest day. We are not accepting credentialing in this area. I was on faith hunting, and I went ahead and applied and got approved for all of them. So I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what you see around you. Doesn't matter how many other people starting the same business. Doesn't matter how many other people written the same type of book. It does not matter. Do not compare your journey to someone else. When God tells you it's your time, I don't care if everybody around you is failing. If it's God, and I still don't apply for contracts. I really don't. I don't. It's been years. I don't apply, but I still every now and again, if someone else reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you mind?" And I determined whether or not. Now, the last few that I did accept, I decided it was worth my time, and I decided to sign on the dotted line. But but I don't go out looking for them anymore because I just, you get what I was saying. Hopefully this is encouraging you, because this is encouraging me to even tell a testimony, because I'm a loner, and sometimes God be doing such great things. And like, what I'm saying, I want to encourage other people, but I've also had a lot of people that hated on me, and I'm not even a bragger. And so I wasn't able to share like, "Oh my God, this is what happened." But I'm telling you, somebody else is going to get value from this. Just keep your faith walk in the forefront of your life. Don't serve God because you want a business. Serve God because you love him. But he is committed. God is committed to your success. Come on here. Come on here. Y'all know I'm preaching. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Have faith. It takes faith. It takes faith. You're not going to see everything. And I said that with the faith versus foolishness. Don't be foolish and somebody tell y'all don't do it. But it takes faith in this a climate to start a business and to maintain it, because it's a journey. Once you start it, you have to learn different things. And there's some things you really just don't know until you start doing it. You don't know the forms that you have to fill out. You don't know the type of people that you may have to deal with. You don't know how you show up in different spaces and places. You just don't know everything, and that is okay. It's a journey, but it takes faith, because fear wants to step in. My journey is when I was growing up, I witnessed someone that was very close to me fail at business. Had a really great business, really great plan, but they didn't have a lot of there's other things that were missing that I talked about in my book, Let Down Your Nets. They didn't have the certain core, not the best choices that they made concerning their business at that time, and the business failed. And so that was my orientation to people who started a business, that people who failed at it. So of course, this fear will present itself whenever you're trying to step out. It's just something that's natural, but you have to just move forward. Keep going forward. It takes faith. Okay. So feed your faith as you're feeding your business and your strategy. It takes a risk. even with the best plan, the best laid out plan. It's not a scripture, but I don't think it's a scripture. But anyway, there's a saying that goes, we make plans and then God laughs. But there's a scripture I love to read and goes, there is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end leads to destruction. In every area of your life, if you seek God's plan, if you seek God, he's going to give you a strategy, and he's not going to tell you everything. But once you start, I'll have a consistent pattern of obedience. And when you're faithful over a few things, that's what the word says. When you're faithful over a few things, then he'll make you ruler over many. So you have to be faithful where you are. And don't try to shortcut these processes, honey, because when you try to shortcut the process, we know it. Okay. And how much time we got? Write out every business plan you have. I don't have it now because I don't use it. But when I first started my business, I had a notebook, and I still have it. I was looking through it this morning as I was preparing to come into my office. I was looking through it. And in that business plan, I had all kinds of fun stuff. Like I have a business, how it's run, stuff. When I get contracts, I look at the reimbursement to have a system of all of that. I had a list of finances and how the finances flow, and I had all that together in my binder, and I still have it. I don't reference it as much anymore, but that was really helpful when I needed to, Anyway, but I had that, and so have a plan, a notebook, something when ideas come, different things that God wants you to do. I always tell people, like, for me, even every book that I write, I don't just write a book because it's a great idea, and I just am going on every video that I write, every podcast that I post. It's never just me just saying, "Oh, I'll just do this." It is fun. Whatever God puts in my heart to do, then I'll do it. And once you got your faithful with producing certain things, God will give you more and more and more. Okay. Use social media to your advantage. And I know I'm not really known on social media, but I've had lots of clients who say, I saw your social media, then I decided to register, or they see me on social media. So leverage it. Okay. Even for healthcare providers, and there's certain ways we have to do things different. There's a reason why I put disclaimers under my post on social media. There's a reason why I put in every social media platform, I do not respond to DMs. Because I don't engage in services, healthcare services, over DMs. I've had people email me and say, "Hey, I need the service. I feel like I stop that. The only way you can get in contact with me is via my Kingdom Creative Counseling website." And there's a reason why I do that, because I'm trying to maintain your anonymity and maintain healthy boundaries with a healthcare provider. Okay. Remember, your social media footprint means something. So if you say, I am the ex, hold on, let me, what you post about will affect your reputation negatively or positively. So I don't care how successful. If you tell me you're a successful minister and you are liking big booty girl, hold on. If you say me, you minister prophet so and so, and we can see what you like and you liking big booty girls and fighting and people drinking it up and all that kind of stuff. We're not gonna believe you. If you say that you're a Christian business person or Christian minister, and the only thing you post is you keep having problems with people, I just don't understand, like, why you think people take you seriously if you have a contentious spirit. You're going back and forth with people on social media. Every time somebody don't like you, you got an issue with somebody, but you the prophet of the hour. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not coming to these people for counseling or any type of business strategy because you're messy. Don't go back and forth with anybody on social media. Okay. Again, I got your social media footprint means, and people think, oh, it's fine because I'm still successful. No. There are things that you are more than likely been denied opportunities, speaking engagements, desire to sell more stuff because your social media blueprint is just nasty. I don't care how anointed or sanctified or gifted you are. If you are nasty on social media, it is assumed that you are nasty in real life. And I say nasty, I mean mentally, verbally, all that kind of. If you are nasty on social media, you are nasty in life. And I'm not talking about a soundbite. I'm talking about we can clearly see you constantly going back and forth with somebody about something. Something just too petty to be addressed. Okay. I'm not going back with nobody on social media. I will just block you and I will not respond to you. I had one person that I think this is years ago. I had posted something on social media and it was a positive message. So remember, you're dealing with people who are like insecure a lot of times in life. It was a positive message, right? And I had no clue what was going on. I had no clue. And so the person, and it was I don't even remember what it was. It was such a positive, affirming message. So I thought, but you never know how people will interpret what you say against you because they're dealing with their own insecurity. So this person thinks they're going back and forth with me. This and everything is taking what I say in quotation marks and then posting it back. And I didn't get it at first because I don't really have, I don't go back and forth with people. Then it dawned on me, wait a minute. Then I said something about, I ain't gonna tell you what I said because I'm not gonna go back for the person to this day. I said something about wanting to one day have my like being where I'm at today, basically. And they quoted it back. Well, I'm already there, and I'm like, oh, ding 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 ding, red light. Wait a minute, this person thinks I'm going back and forth with them. No, ma'am. No, man. You cannot help how people are insecure, are jealous, what they say. Pick up my free ebook, The Accuser. You can't help people how people take what you say, what you do out of context, and that's not the context of your own heart. Or they do sound bites. You know, you can have a whole message that's an hour long, and they sound bite it down to a few sound bites. Basically, you can't help that. But don't go back and forth. I never do this. I never do that. I just unfollowed the person and kept right on moving because I am not going back and forth with you on no social media. But this is years ago. I just it sounds silly, but I was so taken back because I don't do stuff like that. And the fact that you thought, well, I was throwing shade, like, nah, bro. Watch your connections, okay? My bishop in Maryland many moons ago said when God is getting ready to elevate your life, he will send you a person. That's called a favor. When God is getting ready to distract you, when the enemy is going to distract you, like, he will send you a person. Everybody that comes in your space, once they start seeing you being successful, is not sent from God. Some people don't like you, they see you as a resource. Did you know people that are jealous and envious of you will try to connect with you? They think they can take you off their throne or your throne and put themselves in place. Whew. Check out my next book. I just finished it, y'all. I'm waiting for my book designer to bring it to me. Anyway, that is self-explanatory. Next thing is don't compare your journey to anyone else's. Don't compare. When you are a Christian and you're in business, no one is your competition. Nobody. Remember, you make it look easy. There are people that will see you excelling and they become your competition without you knowing it. But you don't have to respond by competing back with them because your fruit speaks for itself. See, when you don't have fruit, you got to do the most. The reason why you got to do the most is because you don't have fruit. But when you are who you say you are, your fruit will speak for itself. You got to announce yourself, I'm Dr. XYZ, and I'm here. It's about me. We don't care. That sound like we just really just don't care. But when you are produced in private and hidden spaces, what you produce, it's gonna speak for you. Oh, all right. Seek out trainings and opportunities for growth. And I do obviously as therapists, we gotta do our continuing education units and things like that. But let's say, for example, you're not always seek out like other even like mentors, coaching programs, other get-togethers and gatherings, whether it be community-based or not, for business leaders. One thing I did was instrumental. I went to the Small Business Center, said this in my local area. You should have one in your local area, no matter what state you go through. They had free trainings that were excellent. So even though I couldn't use some of the information for my counseling practice, I could use a lot of the information for like engaging in social media, Instagram, all those things. I learned a lot of how to upload videos. So I learned a lot of that because I attended those free classes. And plus I got some really good connections. There are people that this is years ago that I got connected with there, and then we still just stay in contact because we attended the same training. And that's pretty cool to me. And again, last thing I'll tell you is go back to websites, booking sites, post your pricing, e-guides, newsletters. There was this, I don't know if they still say it now, there was this kind of thought process maybe a few years ago that said that if you were engaging on social media, all you need to do is use social media. There's some people that are hairstylists, that are makeup artists, that sell clothing boutiques, and you don't really. There's a thought that says you don't need a website. Uh, for a lot of people, that may be the case, but I would not recommend that for folks who want to do something similar, coaching programs, counseling programs, things of that nature. You're going to have a booking website, particularly if you do multiple things. It tells people who you are and link that website to your social media platforms. It just works out a lot better, particularly have multiple things going on. And of course, I've said this before, if you are a therapist and you do multiple things like leadership training, um, uh, all the other stuff, books, ebook guides, something like that, you need to have a website that is particularly for therapists that is only dedicated to your work as a therapist. Okay. And then the other thing, you have a separate website. Why, Samaria? Because when you're a licensed professional, we have a code of ethics that requires us not to do what we call conflict of interest. And you want to make sure, and the client is not privy to that information. They don't know unless you tell them. And so you have to make sure that you're not portraying that, you can book me for therapy, but you can also book me to do your, I don't know, makeup or something like that. I know that's random. Like, you can book me for speaking engagements, and that you want to make sure you're not conveying that, particularly when you're in a regulated field. So if you go to www.kingdomcreativecounseling.com, that's the name of my private practice. It only highlights my work as a therapist. How do you book insurances, frequently asked questions, briefly, that has a small link to my website, but I do not cross pollinate these clients because it is considered a conflict of interest. And I rarely do I have clients come from my personal website. Keep it separate as much as possible because you don't want to give the perception that you're double dipping or double jeopardy, whatever you call it. Okay. But have your website, with your regular website or whatever, that has all the services that you offer. Put on there how much these services cost, no matter what the price is. Nobody wants to sit there and go through. I was looking at somebody's website so many years ago, and I trying to find out who goes what and then all. Don't, if you got a price, don't tell me I'll DM me for the service. Tell me what it is, and I can decide whether or not I want to invest it. If I got to go and look for prices and all that, you're not confident in your pricing strategy, and I'm not interested in doing research on how to find your prices. Okay, unless it's like something custom, like you're doing something like I don't know, like a clothing line, we got to customize stuff. Don't do it. Put your pricing, and then those who are able, that's your clientele, they will find that. Also, booking sites, even for my private practice, I don't book my own clients. I don't go through a booking site. I have my link to my private practice. And so it's a seamless thing. The more people you have coming to you, have to have a seamless system um, for things. Okay, even e-guides and things like that. Post links to that. All right, y'all. I have more to say about this. I just want to, again, hopefully you all are encouraged to continue to launch. I know a lot of people that follow me that are provisionally licensed. I know other therapists there. I know other people who just have a dream to start a practice or start their own business. And no matter what the scary thing is, just remember at the end of the day, you can do it. No matter what comes against you, no matter what the fear that you have, you can do it, and you can break generational curses, and it's possible. And I want you to be encouraged to know that it is possible. All right, you want to subscribe? If you want to, booking website website that has my books, my e-guide that just came out, all those things, go to www.drsamariacolbert.com. If you want to know more about my trainings, go to www.trainingchristianleaders.com. But fun fact, if you just go to my main website, it already has that there. Okay. And then, of course, if you're located in the state of North Carolina, we do accept most insurances. Go to www.kingdomcreativecounseling.com. You must be a North Carolina resident. If you're not a North Carolina resident, but you do want to seek therapy, you want to go to www.psychologytoday.com. This is not sponsored by psychologytoday.com, but go there and you can find local therapists in your local area. All right, y'all. We'll be back another day, another time, another banger, y'all. Bye, y'all. Bye.